Well, welcome to a Pastor's Café. I'm your host, David. I'm here with Pastor Steve Kern. And today's discussion will be lockdowns, digital IDs, global flashpoints. What else is happening? Because there's a lot going on, and we will be right back. Well, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, David. I'm here with Pastor Steve Kern. This is a Pastor's Café, episode number 53. And I did mention our main topic of today last.
Yeah.
Global flashpoints.
Yes.
Because it just seems like it's changing by the hour. You can prep for this episode and come up with some great questions that are applicable and to what's happening today. And then all of a sudden, news changes, things happen, and Iran makes some threats, and there's some stuff going on with Israel and Iran. There's things going on with Russia and us and China and Taiwan. There's just a lot of things going on. How are you feeling about all of this? Like this is a huge distraction, like one big psyop that's happening?
Well, it's, how am I feeling about this?
How do you feel? Your feelings.
I find myself going on my phone and checking Fox News to see, are we in a war yet? How are things going? You know, it's progressive.
Are we in a war yet? We could be in a war already.
Well, of course, Israel and Iran are at war, but
no, they're just having little skirmishes.
Because
that's part of the question. Skirmishes.
Well,
it's not a war.
Listen, this war is a result of all these skirmishes they've been having for years now.
Yep.
Every time they turn around, Israel having to react to something that Iran has been doing in Syria or in their own country when they send terrorists in there to kill their people, and all these different kinds of things going on with the Gaza thing, and
sure,
and it's all finally come to a culmination to where Israel is saying, hey, these people are serious about doing away with us, and so we need to do something about it before they get to the point where they can actually do it.
Okay, so real quick before we get into the question, so you're stating, and I agree with this, you're stating that Iran would like for Israel to cease to exist.
Exactly.
Okay. In a way, is that how the U.S. views Russia?
No.
No?
No. The reason why Iran views it that way is because Iran sees that from their Islamic point of view is that's their that's what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Allah is requiring them to ultimately and finally do away with all religions anti to Islam. And of course, Judaism and Christianity are the two biggest problems. Mm-hmm. And so you've got these religious fanatics that are in charge, that's basically their objective. They have the idea that if they could do away with Israel and the Christians and establish Islam as the world religion, that would make them eternal heroes in whatever they call heaven.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I asked you that, because that possibly is a belief. Whenever you are above someone, like financially or just economically, usually the thought of, because we're all human, is that you want to be as powerful or have what they want.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I asked that, because are we a better country? Are we better off because Russia is hurting financially and we're more prosperous? Of course. Do we want to be lesser than Russia? So in that sense, that's the reason why I was asking the question. So would the U.S. be better if Russia didn't exist? I say that because there is a game being played. Do we really have the full information?
Yeah.
We're just receiving information that they give to us. And we can all speculate the moves, the chess game that's happening. I totally understand, but that's the reason I wanted to explain the motivation behind that question.
Well, after World War II, America went through, and Germany and all those, Europe and all, what did they do? They went back in there and started rebuilding.
Rebuilding, yeah.
Why? Because we are a capitalist country. They were wanting to have markets. They were wanting to build more trade opportunities.
Yep.
And that's been the whole. Well, when Bush was over there as ambassador to China, the whole idea was to try to get China in a position where they could create more markets for all different kinds of things.
And see, that's good. I'm glad you said that, because I am not a proponent for Iran. I'm not a proponent of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand why you said that Iran, Muslims want to, how did you phrase it? Wanted to
eliminate,
but it needs to be the worldwide religion, right?
Right.
Correct.
They want Islam.
That's what they believe.
Yeah.
What do we believe?
Well, what
does the United States do? They rebuild. As a religious people, we want to have everyone be a follower of Jesus, right?
Right.
Aren't we doing the same thing that they're doing?
No, we're not killing people to do it.
But there are people who do say that. If we go in and we unleash a bomb, I am not agreeing with what I'm saying. I'm trying to trip you up here.
You're trying to trip me up.
And look at it from a different perspective, because you hear this argument, and sometimes we have to slow the horse down and feel like, hey, well, wait a minute. They truly believe this. There's people in Iran who truly believe that we are the enemy.
Yeah.
And we'll sit there and say, and pat ourselves on the back and say, but we're just trying to rebuild and have people have a prosperous life. But they believe the exact same thing that we do. They just believe in Allah, and they believe in their religion, as well as we believe in Jesus in our religion. So there's no convincing them any other way. Am I going to be able to convince you that Jesus is not the way and Allah is the Savior? Am I ever going to convince you of that?
No.
No.
But I think I've got good reason why. I've got science. I've got.
Oh yeah,
theology.
exactly.
I've got all this other stuff.
So how can you negotiate? How can you convince someone? It's like half of our nation. Half of our nation truly believes that Trump is the problem. He created all the problems of this country.
Oh, I know.
It doesn't matter. We're going back 100 years ago.
Yeah.
It's Trump's fault.
Yeah.
No matter what. And then you have another half of our country that, do I agree with everything Trump does and says? No. But is he doing a good job? He's doing a really good job.
Is he doing what needs to be done?
Exactly.
The things that should have been done a long time ago.
And see, I agree with that, and I believe that you agree with that, and I believe about half the country does. A little more of the half the country probably does too. They're just afraid to actually say it because of the other side will come down on them for being. Start labeling us, hate speech and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, so
understand something. Trump's problem is not with Iran; it's with the regime.
Yes,
it's the regime. We're going.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes,
we're going in there and trying to do away with their ability to produce a nuclear warhead.
What's wrong with that though? Because we've got plenty.
Because they're out there saying we're going to use it to blow Israel off the earth and us
Thank
too.
you very much. That's the thing you don't hear on the news.
That's what they're saying. And so basically, as president, his job is to protect us. And of course, Israel obviously is in greater danger than we are, and they're an ally. And they have the ability to do it, so let's help them do it. But but the thing about it is, that's the difference. But when Iran is sending their missiles over to Israel, they're not targeting any kind of military stuff. They're targeting the civilians.
Exactly.
It's a totally different mentality.
Exactly.
Because they have a mandate to kill off as many as they can, and so that's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally and completely different worldview.
It is, and unfortunately, there is one side that we cannot convince no matter what. Mm-hmm. On their belief system is broken and flawed.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
So how do you solve that problem? We don't have enough time or enough years to actually try to solve that problem. But people need Jesus. How about that?
That's exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we could pray for him. Are you ready to get started with the first question?
But here is an interesting.
All right, go ahead.
Here's an interesting thing.
Okay.
The fastest growing church in the world is in Iran.
I didn't know that.
Yes. The people there are getting fed up with the Islamic, what's the word you want to say?
Cruelty.
Tyranny.
Tyranny. Yeah.
And the Lord is doing stuff there. I mean, people are having dreams and visions and all this kind of stuff, and coming out and testimony about how that Jesus has revealed himself to them. I mean, it's amazing.
You know what I believe?
Huh?
I believe this is all happening because Jesus is ready to come back.
Well, that's true. Well, and he wants as many to be saved.
That's right. So I truly believe, it might be 50 years, but it might be tomorrow.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I had a friend that went to China and went to some of the underground churches, and the pastors there were saying, "Hey, don't pray that we get delivered from communism here in China." And he said the reason why is because when the people experience the difference between our Christianity and their communism, they're coming to our Christianity.
Yeah.
They're becoming more and more open to it.
Sure.
Because they can obviously see the difference between the two.
Yeah, there's a reason why people are coming to the United States of America and they want to live here instead of going to China and beating down their walls and breaking into their country and getting in there illegally.
I know. Anyway, have we got to the question?
No, but we got a lot to unpack. So let's go ahead and start with this question on global flashpoints and prophecy. With Iran-Israel skirmishes, just China-Taiwan standoffs, and Russia-U.S. brinkmanship, are we witnessing the setup for Gog and Magog or other end times alignments?
Well, obviously, everything is moving in that direction. And are we being set up? No, it's the devil has a plan and God has a plan. And they're all going to finally come together.
How's it end?
And, well, we see
what's going to happen.
Jesus coming. Now,
if there's only a book that would tell us.
Well, now here's an important thing to think about. At the end, Israel's going to be surrounded by the nations to be destroyed. What is happening right now? Israel, in trying to protect themselves with Gaza, what's happened? You've got all this anti-Semitism going on, especially here in America right now. And now you got Iran, and they're protecting themselves and going through having to do what they have to do in order to keep this country from blowing them off the face of the earth.
Yep.
But what that's going to do is it's going to cost more and more people to say, look how terrible Israel is because look what they did to Iran. What's happening here is the development of justifications for what you're talking about here.
Yeah, and what happens if, by chance, Donald Trump, because he hasn't done it yet, but there's rumors that we might be sending over a bunker buster.
I know.
And taking out their primary nuclear production facility that's inside of a mountain?
Yeah, it's
underground.
Yeah.
And that could be a catalyst for chaos to unfold worldwide.
I myself personally, I don't see how that he can get around not doing that. I think because they're saying that if they don't do away with that, I mean, that's the place where they can still develop a nuclear.
Or do they have one already?
And they don't know that either.
They don't know that.
So and if they did finally do away with that, that would just relieve so much tension and so much concern, not just with Israel.
Are you saying if we do this?
Yeah.
Well, if we do this, we're going to open up a can of worms globally.
Well,
maybe not. Okay.
A lot of, you don't see a whole lot of, they're saying, Saudi Arabia and others, that are Muslims and all there, but they're different Muslims from Iran.
Sure, yes.
But, this is a bad thing that they're doing and everything, but they would love to see Iran gone too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so different in their objectives.
Sure.
And so really, I agree with most say that actually, if Trump was to do this, finally do away with that facility and do away with the threat, nuclear threat, that would really, he would probably be established as historically the greatest peacemaker, in the history of leadership of the nations.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we know what is going to happen next if that happens.
Tell me.
Well, I don't know. It's very suspenseful. Maybe I'll tell you in the next episode.
Okay.
Hey, real quick while we're not in a break, but kind of switching the conversation, which we're going to continue. Yeah. I do want to say, thank you to all of our viewers and our subscribers out there.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
a small, it's not small, it's a plaque behind us presented to our LibertyNetwork.live from YouTube for passing 100,000 subscribers. So if you're one of our subscribers for our channel, in which a Pastor's Cafe is part of the LibertyNetwork.live channel, thank you so much, and for helping us spread the word. It's a good feeling that we're making a difference, and hopefully making a difference in people's lives. So thank you for subscribing and listening in. So. Yeah. It'd be nice to hear from some of our listeners too.
Yeah.
But I know we get busy and we think about, you know what? And it's like this. So I live on used to be paved road, but now it's gravel road. It used to be dirt, but now it's gravel. But they maintain it pretty good. And when it rains and there's big potholes, I think to myself, I'm going to write a email to the county commissioner, which is no longer Charlie Meadows, and he did a really good job. But this new guy was going to be so much better than Charlie Meadows in Logan County. Yeah. And he was going to fix all the roads, and Charlie's just wasting money. And this committee or this foundation in Oklahoma City, wrote an article in the Oklahoman and also sent out cards, basically saying what a despicable person he is and how corrupt he is. Yeah. And I'm like, the thing is, I called them numerous times. They didn't answer the phone. I left voicemails, never got a phone call back. I emailed them, never got an email back from them. I mean, come on. What kind of foundation is this? But anyways, sorry. When I drive down my road and it's all tattered and beat up, I sit there and say, I'm going to send an email. And I'm going to include Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 9, and I'm really going to put it to this county commissioner. I'm going to make sure that our road is paved. Have I sent the email yet? No. And for the last year, I've been thinking that. So I know what it's like when you listen to a show and you think, oh, you know what? I need to ask a question because I'm going to stump them, or I'm curious about this, or let's engage in this conversation, and you just don't do it.
I want to let them know how I disagree with them.
That's the reason why sometimes I ask the questions that I do, and I rephrase things, and because there is a side that doesn't believe what we believe. Yeah. And it's like, doing a research on a dissertation. You've done that before.
Sure.
You find all the information. You do the lit review, and you find all the information. However, you got to find all the information. And some of that information doesn't agree with your narrative.
That's true.
And you have to address that. Mm-hmm. And you have to tell why that doesn't agree with your narrative and how you can prove that is false or doesn't agree and why it doesn't agree. You just can't sit there and say, I love Trump.
That's what you call debate,
and to understand the other side, so it's like having a debate with someone who disagrees with you. Knowing all the information really does help it when you go into an argument or a discussion. Hopefully it's never an argument, but a discussion.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when I go into discussions about church music, how quickly it gets heated on their side. Yeah. Because they don't have the facts. They have what they believe. Yeah. Rather than the actual facts. So when you start mentioning facts, then things get heated. It's kind of like what's going on with us in Iran and Israel and Iran. There's this side that does not agree. Oh, we've been down that trail before. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue about Iran, Israel, China, Taiwan, Russia, and us. Is there anything else that we need to flesh out before we move on to a different question, or you want to keep on going? We got about 10 minutes left of our show.
Well, I just I think it's kind of interesting that China and
Taiwan.
Well, China and Russia really haven't been very vocal about anything that's been going on between the Iran thing, because both of them are supposed to be big supporters, but there's not been any real threats coming from them. So
from them towards us or Israel.
Yeah. And obviously, I think they can see that, man, Iran is so decimated. There's not a whole lot that they can really do about it.
I know. You know what blows me away on this whole entire thing, and it's almost with people too. You know, my whole philosophy when I was a teacher and educator, and still is kind of like my philosophy and my belief system, what can I do to help you be successful? What can I do to encourage you? What can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Why can't we all just adopt that as people? Not saying if the whole world believed what I believe, that would be wonderful. But as a general belief, all politics aside, religion aside, that is just, I believe if people lived that way, if everyone lived that way, and people in the countries would just look at each other and say, what can I do to help you? How can I encourage you? How can I be polite to you? Yeah. If you go into a country and you want to become a citizen of that country, you are a visitor, and you're not a citizen yet. What can I do to help this country become great? What can I do to be a help? What can I do to get myself ahead too? Yeah. This truly is a land of opportunity. So I'm sitting here scratching my head. Why is it that there are so many people that are upset and want to kill other people and take them out? I really, from a belief system of just a human being, I can't understand that. Why? At all. And that's all, let's just set religion aside.
Mm-hmm. It's called depravity, and it's called our human nature that is very self-focused. It's all about me. It's all about what can I
You hit the nail on the head. So, what is his name? And I'm going to be very critical. He's a motivational speaker. He's written some books. Sykes. I forget his first name, but I didn't listen to a lot of audiobooks, but a comment he made, which I agree with, but I disagreed with. He was talking about him and his buddy going for a run, and they were finished the run, and there was a table with bagels, and his friend didn't want to wait in line because it would take him a long time to wait in line to get their bagel. Yeah. Well, he adopted a different belief. They're waiting in line. Why do I have to wait in line? I could just go up to the table and just grab one. I don't have to wait in line. And because he says, there's nothing wrong with that. Did I deny someone their bagel? I didn't deny anyone a bagel. But why do I have to conform to getting in line? Okay, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because now it's all about self.
Yeah.
And so he's making millions off of this new philosophy and belief system. Well, where's the humane thing? Where's the belief and helping others? No, it's all, you hit the nail on the head. It's all about me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have news for people. It's not about you.
No.
You know who it's all about? It's about God.
Yeah. And our relationship with
and our personal relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I mean, I challenge myself. I don't know if it's not really a challenge, but oftentimes, people will see me and they think I'm in a different world. Mm-hmm. It's not that. I am so focused on Jesus, and I want to do more for Jesus, and I try my best. I get really upset with myself if I design a graphic, or if I do a welcome video, or if I lead a worship song. And if it's not the best it could ever be, you know what I'm saying? And you get mad at yourself because you get upset with yourself, and you get hard on yourself because you wanted to do better for Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think if we have our own personal walks with Jesus, if we would focus more of our attention on Jesus, boy, this really has taken a shift in the conversation. If we focus more on Jesus, because all this stuff is distractions. We've talked about this numerous times. This is just a distraction to get us our focus off of Jesus. But if we truly would live for Jesus and we focused our attention and focused on ourselves, making ourselves better for Jesus, this place could be a lot different. I don't know.
Well, I love Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through 8, where it talks about how that Jesus, when he came to this earth, he emptied himself. Mm-hmm. He's God, and became a man. And as a man, he modeled to us servanthood.
Exactly, in which a lot of us fail miserably on. But go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And so, and basically said, okay, if you really, by doing that, as the creator, if you want to have the most valuable kind of life and life experience, be a servant.
That's right.
Be a servant.
Yep.
And
be a servant, but it's okay to cut people in line and pick up your bagel. I'm just joking. No,
but that's what he modeled to us.
Yeah.
By saying that we really, when we created you, God created us. He created us to basically have positive relationships with each other. Mm-hmm. And in order to have positive relationships with each other, the only way you can do that is serving each other. That's right. Not trying to take advantage of each other.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
But we're human.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm human.
Yeah. It's all about me.
It's all about me. The show's all about me.
Oh, dear. Anyway.
All right. Well, you know, if I ran the world, there would be peace.
Okay. There would be peace.
There would be peace. It would be utopia. Oh, man. I tell you what.
Utopia, that word. That's something the communists have been trying to come up with years, and it just hasn't happened.
It just hasn't
happened.
Oh, man. I tell you what. We are in for quite a ride, aren't we? I tell you.
We'll see how next week, where we're at then after this week.
Well, you know, we keep on hearing these things. We talked about this earlier today, but who knows if these posts were from Iran. But on social media, I saw a couple posts, and one of them was, both of them were supposed to be from Iran. But anyways, one of the ones was a video of, it looked like an Arabic hand. You only just saw the hand, and it was petting a nuclear bomb. Well, not a huge nuclear, like a handheld, toy, and just petting it and going, maybe. And then they also did another post saying they will do something last night,
Right.
We'll do something tonight that will change the face of the planet forever, and nothing did happen.
No. Go down in history.
Go down in history.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's just trying to, what is the word I'm trying to put it, get into some kind of position where they feel like that they have some kind of control or gaining some kind of lost position that they thought they had.
Yep.
And really, nowadays, everything that they're doing and putting out is they just don't have the capacity.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
Yep. Yep.
And maybe, I don't know whether that Ayatollah knows that or not. But they're just about done. I mean, as far as having any ability to. Yeah. Unless they do happen to have the nuclear warhead that we thought they may not have yet. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But
who knows? I want to let you know about this award. I feel like when the rapture takes place, that you should take care of that for us. Well, oh, man. Isn't that mighty big of me?
That's great. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Oh, man. Well, if we're still here, we look forward to 250 and 500 and keep it going.
Well, I'll tell you what. If that happens, this won't matter anyway, because this is just preparation stuff here for when that comes, then this becomes history.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, I enjoyed our conversation. We got one question out of the way today, but the other questions we're dealing with all the other stuff going on. But right now, I think that everyone is just really hyper focused on what's going on in Israel and what our response may or may not be. So, well, be praying for our country, be praying for Israel, the world, and all the chaos going on. And we hope you enjoyed episode number 53. Feel free to send us an email to challenge us or to provide us a question, and we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, we would.
Until next time, we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode of A Pastor's Cafe. And take care, and bye-bye.
Amen.